Hey, it's Webs here with a bit of a mercenaries update with some new mercenaries that got revealed today. And boy oh boy, do these bunch of mercenaries actually feel like they belonged in the Dead Minds mini set. Because I have expected us to get some Horde or Alliance or even Elemental based synergy with the Fracture and Alterac Valley set. However, I guess those will have to wait until the mini set. All of the mercenaries I'm going to go over are going to be at their maximum level, so be warned. With that being said, let's go discuss them. The first mercenary joining the ranks along the other mercenaries is Valeera, who is the final classic Hearthstone hero to actually become a mercenary. It always shocked me that she wasn't actually included in the initial batch. There was probably some reasoning behind it. Maybe they just wanted to even a number of mercenaries of each color. First skill is Sinister Strike, and at level 5, it's a 3-speed ability that gives her an attack that turn, and then she attacks the lowest health enemy. And it also has combo, gains stealth. So this on paper doesn't seem like the best thing in the world. It seems like a King Crush without the beast tag. However, given one of her equipments, this is actually probably going to be very strong and maybe even impact the way you actually play her. And because I mentioned that equipment, I should probably go over it next. It is Unnatural Smoke, and it's a passive that while this merc has stealth, friendly characters are 4 speed faster, which is actually really insane if you actually think about it, because honestly that means you could run her in a build where there's a lot of very slow mercenaries in your build and just allow her to keep the stealth for the entire game after her initial attack, especially given the fact that right now the Cairn and Diablo combo is as prevalent as it is already. Giving that build access to another way to actually speed up Diablo is probably something that we don't want to see for the metagame, and this is actually just really scary. This equipment is honestly like 80% of the reason why you are ever going to want to run Valeera in any type of build. The second skill that she has is Ambush, which is a 6-speed ability. It deals 10 damage, and if this merc was stealth, deal 25 instead. So I don't think this will probably be used that much. I think Sinister Strike and Unnatural Smoke are going to be where this is going to fall when it comes to playability for different skills and equipments. So if they introduce other mercenaries that can actually gain stealth or ways for her to actually gain stealth, then maybe Ambush would actually be used a lot. That being said, her other equipment that actually deals with Ambush, Shadow Dagger, actually might make this ability a lot more playable if Unnatural Smoke actually gets nerfed. Shadow Dagger makes Ambush 3 speed faster and gains Death Blow, gains stealth, so this allows you to actually gain the stealth right away back after you use your Ambush. This could be useful, but at the same time that requires you not to run Unnatural Smoke, so I can't really see this equipment seeing a lot of play. And her final skill is Fan of Knives, which deals 7 damage to all enemies. Your other mercs are 3 speed faster next turn, and it is a speed of 7. Again, I think this is another skill that probably won't be used much. I think Valeera overall will probably serve a purpose similar to Cookie, where you include her in the build, but instead of getting additional HP, you're using her for the quicker speed for your abilities and not actually using her for any of the abilities that she has herself. Hidden Paths is the final equipment for Valeera, and it's a passive that whenever a friendly character loses stealth, give them 6 attack. It's another one of those equipments that in the future might be really good, but as it currently stands, Valeera is the only one with stealth, so I don't actually see this equipment actually seeing any play. The second mercenary being introduced is Sky Admiral Rogers, which is a epic mercenary. Her first skill is Skyguard, which gives her 5 attack, and then she attacks an enemy. If it was a pirate, she gains immune while attacking this turn. So if pirates ever become a real big threat, this is probably going to be really useful, but as it currently stands, it's just a stereotypical first ability for most units. I think it's an alright ability, but at the same time, you're never really going to get the pirate condition filled, probably, given the current pirates that exist in Hearthstone. And her equipment that goes along with it is she gains an additional 5 attack, which again is another one of those equipments that it's alright. I just don't see how useful it actually will be in the end. Her second skill is Master Tactician, which deals 12 damage to an enemy or restore 12 health to an ally, it goes next. The speed of this ability is 2, which makes it actually a pretty cool healing ability. It isn't something that kind of fits in any current builds, but at the same time, you could use this to speed up Diablo, I guess, to always go second. Or you could use it for other way to counter out Diablo if you're facing against a Diablo, making one of your slower mercenaries actually be quicker. And the equipment that she gets along with Master Tactician, Ship Spell, causes it to deal 4 more damage and makes them go last. This is the perfect Diablo counter that we've all been looking for. Sure, it's going to turn a defensive skill of Master Tactician into an offensive skill, but given the fact that Diablo is currently unnerfed, this equipment is probably going to be the best equipment for her, and the reason why you actually play her in any type of build, as long as you have some type of space. The only downside is she is a caster unit, which means she takes double damage from Diablo. But if you can combo her out with some other mercenaries, then I don't think that's going to be too much of an issue in the long run. Her final skill is Firing Position, which deals 20 damage to all enemies that have already acted, so kind of like a reverse Diablo, and it doesn't do it in waves. It's kind of a cool ability. It's a 6-speed ability, so it isn't the slowest thing in the world, but I don't know how useful this is going to be. And her final equipment is Scout Spyglass, which is a passive that makes it where after she attacks, you deal 4 damage to all enemies, and it deals critical damage to pirates. So they're really going down the pirate hate with this mercenary. It isn't really that big of a shock. I don't think that's going to be the main reason you would want to run this. Diablo is going to be the main reason you're going to want to run this mercenary in any type of build. And I think overall she's probably a well-rounded mercenary, even if Diablo falls under favor future of the mercenary game mode. But until then, I think she was the perfect thing that we actually needed to counteract Diablo's usefulness in a lot of the meta builds. The third mercenary being added is Trigor the Lasher, which is a protector mercenary that is rare. His first ability is Frenzied Attack, which attacks an enemy. If this took damage this turn, deal 12 damage to a random adjacent enemy. So this is kind of anti-synergistic with King Mukla, but at the same time, I could see this maybe seeing some play in some type of beast build. This does round out the beast builds within mercenaries with an additional protector unit if you actually want to use it. And his equipment that goes along with it is Infused Amber, which makes Frenzy Attack deal 4 more damage, which is a decent enough ability. I don't think there's anything really big to write home about between this and the actual ability itself. Of course, this is a rare mercenary, so it's not going to be really shocking of what he can actually do. Backlash is his next ability, which is a 1-speed ability, and it causes the next time an enemy damages an adjacent ally this turn, gain 5 attack and deal this merc's attack damage to them. So I think this probably will be the reason why you would run Tarangor in some type of build. Pseudo taunt minion in the middle of all your other beasts, thus allowing yourself to gain a bunch of attack, and also remove some of the targetability of King Crush off of his back, thus allowing you to actually have 2 ways to actually win the game instead of just relying on King Crush himself. Razor Claw is the equipment that goes along with this, which causes Backlash to give an additional 4 attack, which shouldn't really shock anyone. It is just a stereotypical equipment for a second skill. It's not that real interesting. It would have been cooler if it made the Backlash actually trigger multiple times, but because Backlash only triggers once per turn, I don't know how useful this equipment's actually going to be, but it sure is better than the Frenzied Attack in my opinion. Regrow Heads is the final ability for Tarangor. It is a 4-speed ability that makes this merc take critical damage this turn, and then at the end of the turn, it restores him to full HP. So, given the fact that casters are the most common mercenary currently in mercenaries, giving himself critical damage isn't that big of a deal. However, I don't know how useful this is going to be given the fact that it has a 1-turn cooldown and it is eating up one of your turns with him on the board. I think he's already going to have a huge target on his back anyways, not as much as King Crush, but this doesn't give him taunt or anything else, just to make him an even bigger target on his back. So I guess it could maybe see some play, and the equipment that goes along with it is Regenerative Scales, which makes Regrow heads restore 16 health when it's cast, which makes it a little bit better, but at the same time, I don't know when you're actually going to use regrow heads. And overall, I would say this is probably the weakest out of the 4 mercenaries actually revealed today. Vanessa Van Cleef is the final mercenary revealed today, which is a epic mercenary. She, of course, like her father, is a pirate. Her first skill is Burglar Barrage, which is a 7-speed ability that attacks an enemy, and then it has the combo Still 5 attack from them. So if attack-based builds become a real big threat, this is actually pretty good. Even if they don't, you can still attack from something that is like a caster unit, thus giving her even more attack and making her even more deadly. Her equipment that goes along with this is Dreadblade, which makes it 4 speed faster, and it always combos, thus allowing you to always steal the attack while not relying on her being the slowest unit on your team. And this actually does help kind of solve some of the issues that pirate builds currently have, where they only had one type of protector mercenary to actually have on the team. Even though Mr. Smite is really good, I think this is probably going to be a really good mercenary to also include on the team. Her second ability is Makeshift Weaponry, which is a 3-speed ability, and it spends all stolen attack to deal that much damage to all enemies. So it's an ability that combos out with her first ability, which kind of makes her a bit of a worse mercenary just because you don't know if she's going to survive an additional turn or not. But at the same time, if you can steal enough attack, you can actually do a bunch of damage to your opponent, and it is actually kind of funny on how much you could actually do in theory. The equipment that goes along with this is Extra Pockets, which makes Makeshift Weaponry actually keep 5 attack. So this does have benefits of just allowing you to actually not use Burglar Barrage as many times as the first time before your makeshift weaponries. But at the same time, I don't see how useful this is compared to Dreadblades, which I think that's going to be her go-to equipment actually going forward as a mercenary. Her final skill is Shifting Satchel, which deals 16 damage to an enemy, gives 1 cooldown to an ability they haven't used this turn, and it has a speed of 5 with that 1 cooldown. So this is a weird ability to actually think about. It has a 50-50 chance of actually targeting an ability that your opponent's actually going to want to use. But if they're a mercenary that has multiple usable abilities, this actually won't do much and probably isn't the best ability to actually have. It is pretty cool. It does give a cool theme to Vanessa, but I just don't see how useful it is. And she has no equipment to actually improve this. I'm shocked that we didn't see something like this ability also does damage to adjacent, or also gives the adjacent minions a cooldown on one of their abilities. It's just kind of sad that it didn't. Her final equipment though, however, is Blade Catcher, which is a passive whenever this merc is attacked. Deal 4 attack from the attacker. So again, if a lot of attacking based mercenaries actually go into the metagame, this will probably see some play. But at the same time, Dreadblades I think is just going to be the go-to equipment for her. Overall, I think Vanessa is probably a pretty good mercenary for pirate builds, and I'm looking forward to actually trying to use her in some type of pirate build. I just need to level her up and all the other pirates up first. With that being said, if you enjoyed the video, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and until next time, bye bye.